Hello friends, here's Smart Week, and in today's episode you'll find Elon Musk trying but failing to take control of the OpenAI ChatGPT, which has been turned into a plug-in platform. Apple's unmanned car had an accident. The brutal Hyundai Mufasa crossover tested in a 3D-printed Relativity Space rocket, surviving a flight through NextQ, and a new generation of Starlink satellites crashing out of orbit. All this and more right now. Let's go! According to Mac reports, the number of accidents involving Apple's autonomous vehicles has reached 16. Information from the California Department of Motor Vehicles confirmed that back in February 2023, the company's unmanned car was involved in an accident. The incident occurred as a result of the fact that the autonomous car failed to cope with the control on a turn, hit a curb, partially deforming the rim of the wheel. The vehicle was under manual control at the time, and no injuries were reported. Despite the 16 incidents, Apple's autonomous cars performed better than those of other companies testing autonomous driving technology. By comparison, Uber cars were involved in 227 crashes, Cruise cars were involved in 203, and Zix cars were involved in 72. Department data shows that Apple currently operates 67 cars equipped with their sensors, with 201 drivers on staff for testing. The Taiwanese company Acer, familiar primarily with computers and all kinds of peripherals, suddenly announced the release of an urban electric bike. The manufacturer declares the use of artificial intelligence technology in it. The bike does not have the usual mechanical gearbox. Instead, an AI-powered algorithm can automatically adjust the driver's assistance based on analysis of personal preferences, road conditions, and other factors. It is claimed that over time, the vehicle even begins to adjust to the owner. The bike can sync with a smartphone via Bluetooth through a proprietary app, allowing it to track battery status, receive notifications if the bike is stolen, and track it under GPS through the app. You can also turn it on and select one of 3 riding modes. Hidden inside the bike is a 460 watt-hour battery from MMS, a subsidiary company, for 68 miles of travel. The removable battery allows you to charge it indoors and use it to recharge other devices. A full charge takes 2.5 hours. The 250-watt motor can be mounted on the front or rear wheel. A top speed of up to 15.5 miles per hour is claimed. The price and release dates of the Acer electric bike have not been announced. OpenAI has added support for third-party plugins to the GPT chatbot. This will significantly expand the chatbot's capabilities and, for the first time, give it access to live data from the internet. Until now, the GPT chat could only get information from specially selected training data. A small group of users will have access to the plugins. To date, 11 plugins are available. They work with external sites such as Wikipedia, OpenTable, and Shopping. OpenAI has a few plugins for itself. One for interpreting code, another for finding GPT chat information from the internet. As Sam Altman wrote on Twitter, the plugins are still at a very experimental level, but said he sees this development direction as something great. He stressed that the feature has been very much requested by users. As an example of the features and plugins, the company showed how a user asks GPT to compare sales of this year's Oscar-winning films with recently released films. Before giving an answer, it shows what sources of information GPT used. Only Microsoft's Bing functionality was previously able to do this, which was made to order. However, the OpenAI plugin doesn't just look up information on the web. It can also connect to an API to perform actions on behalf of the user. Bing can find the right flights and hotels for you if you're planning a vacation, and something GPT can help you book them. As for the possible risks of delegating authority to a chatbot with artificial intelligence, which has already once managed to hire a person to bypass key patch protection, the company assures that it has considered the potential dangers and increased security measures, in particular by limiting access to plugins to an extremely narrow circle of people. We hope this is indeed the case. Hyundai has unveiled a new crossover Hyundai Santa Cruz, which is positioned as a replacement for the Hyundai 935. While it is a concept, the production version can be seen during the auto show in Shanghai on April 18th. On sale will begin in early July. The car has a high ground clearance, a pronounced off-road body and related tires, as well as running boards and reinforced bumpers. On top is located an unusual trunk. In the area of the rear left pillar is a strange element, whose purpose is not clear yet. At the rear, Hyundai designers created stoplights in the form of an oval, inside which is an alphabetical logo of the Hyundai brand. A duplicate stoplight is located on the rear spoiler. The Hyundai's interior will be minimalistic, with virtually no physical buttons on the front panel, and all controls are placed on a touchscreen display. The driver will also be able to play with the dashboard. The production car will be equipped with a 2-liter atmospheric engine model G4NJ with a maximum output of 161 horsepower. A hybrid version will also be available. Elon Musk tried to take control of OpenAI in 2015, but failed. In 2015, Elon Musk co-founded the startup OpenAI, which was envisioned as a non-profit organization for AI research for the public good. In 2018, Musk attempted to lead the organization, arguing that it was lagging behind Google in development, but after failing, he declined to fund the project further on a large scale. OpenAI changed its business model to attract corporate resources and found a partner in Microsoft in 2018. Musk offered to take direct control of OpenAI, but that offer was rejected by other OpenAI founders, including Elon Musk, who left the OpenAI board of directors, citing a conflict of interest with his job at Tesla. He also abandoned his original intention to invest $1 billion in the company, limiting himself to 10 times the amount. Musk's decision posed a serious problem, as the development of large-scale AI models, such as the daily image generator and text-based generative GPT, required a huge financial investment. So by 2019, OpenAI was forced to announce a new for-profit organization to fund its research, and very quickly received billions of dollars in investment and resources from Microsoft, which, in addition, secured exclusive licenses to use OpenAI's technology in its products. OpenAI has not yet commented on the claim that it was the loss of funding from Musk that prompted the company to collaborate with Microsoft. But this version is very plausible. It is important to note that many in the IT community consider OpenAI's pivot to corporate interests to be an important point, not only because of the change in OpenAI's original principles, but also for the desire to launch new products as quickly as possible, which can have dangerous consequences for the brain. Concerns about OpenAI's policy change have been repeatedly expressed. In February, Elon Musk wrote on Twitter that OpenAI had become a closed-source company, as profitable and efficient as possible, controlled by Microsoft, adding that this was not at all what he meant. And last Friday, he posted a meme on Twitter with the caption, "I realize that the most powerful tool mankind has ever created is now in the hands of ruthless corporate monopolies." But let us not forget that Elon Musk is a financial stakeholder and a masterful manipulator of public opinion, always eager to position himself as a hero. At the end of February, SpaceX launched 2 batches of new satellites for the Starlink constellation. The heavier and larger V2 mini models will be a transitional link between the former vehicles and the Vita model, which can be lifted by older spacecraft. The first batch of 21 satellites, codenamed Group 6.1, began ascending to a higher orbit a couple of days after reaching an altitude of nearly 230 miles. However, after a few days, the satellites stopped at about 236 miles. Then, starting March 15th, they began to lose altitude at varying rates, most gradually. But at least 2 dropped abruptly to 226 miles. Musk's tweet was the first confirmation of the problem and the first comment from SpaceX on what was happening. So far, neither he nor other engineers of the company cannot identify the cause of abnormal operation of the satellites. All the satellites are still in orbit, but their unusual behavior allows for various speculations about what is wrong with them. Group 6.1 is the company's first V2 Mini, a smaller version of its second-generation satellites weighing 200 kilograms and with 20 meters of solar panels. Unlike the full-size second model, they fit less inside a Falcon 9 rocket. So, immediately after receiving regulatory approval, SpaceX began launching them into orbit. Relativity Space's first Terran 1 rocket launched successfully on March 22nd, but failed to reach orbit due to a failure to activate the second stage. This was the company's 4th attempt to launch a rocket, 85% of the components of which were created using 3D printing. The launch was delayed by nearly 90 minutes due to high winds, and also because the private boat went into closed waters. The rocket's first stage is equipped with 9 methane engines as planned and passed through the region of maximum dynamic pressure, known as NextQ, 80 seconds after launch. The main purpose of this launch was just to pass through NextQ to demonstrate the integrity of the rocket structure printed on a 3D printer. The separation of the stages occurred 2 minutes and 45 seconds after liftoff, but the second stage with a single Eon vacuum engine ignited almost immediately in the engine area. Surveillance footage showed a plume of smoke a few seconds after ignition, and telemetry on the company's webcast indicated that the vehicle was slowing down. Mission Control claimed an anomaly with the booster 5 minutes after liftoff, but did not immediately disclose additional details about the failure. Despite the failure to reach orbit, Relativity was pleased with the launch. Before the launch, the company stressed that the simple passage of NextQ was already an important milestone. According to Tim Ellis, executive director and co-founder of Relativity 9, this essentially proves the viability of using additive technology to produce rockets. The one carried no payload, only a small component printed on a 3D printer. The company called the flight data it obtained valuable for improving its next rockets, including this much larger, fully reusable launch vehicle, which is being developed for its first launch as early as 2024 and can carry up to 1,250 kilograms into orbit. It is a technological pioneer with a payload capacity of about 20 tons.